So this last weekend, I went to a business conference, which shout out to my brother-in-law, Braden. He suggested that I take you guys along with me and talk about everything that's going on. And I got too involved and I forgot. So this is kind of me making a video after the fact. There's not much better way, I feel like, to spend a weekend than to end up getting around a bunch of people who are trying to better themselves. What I have found is that regardless of what type of meeting you end up going to, regardless of what the topic is, who the speaker is, what ends up being more of value to you is actually the people that are there. And I'm not meaning in like the aspect of like a networking type situation of like trying to meet people who can help you in your industry, but more of the way of making it so that you can get around people who are progressing in life and trying to do better. Most people don't have an atmosphere where they can be around people who are actually trying to better themselves. So with that, I feel like that's the biggest takeaway from any business meeting or conference, I guess is probably more accurately put, because when you're on a conference, you're getting around hundreds of people who, or sometimes even thousands, depending on how big of the event you're going to, of people who are wanting, like I said, to do better, but they're also actively trying to grow in something in their aspect of their life, usually in business, and usually have like-minded situation as you. And so being around people that are in that situation can really help you move forward in your journey with your business. I'm not saying that you should spend tens of thousands of dollars going to extremely expensive ones. I'm just talking about finding yourself one that's in your price range, even if it's local, and maybe it's someone that isn't maybe as big as like maybe a Tony Robbins or like a Robert Kiyosaki, or I'm trying to think of a few other people who do conferences, maybe an Alex Hormozi situation. You just want to get around somewhere where people are trying to do better. You can get extra advice on how to grow your business or grow in a skill. And then me and my wife, we like to fly because we have kids, and so whenever we take kids with us, our kids don't travel in the car well, and so it's always interesting in that aspect. Oh man, my hair is being... But we like to fly because it's easier on them. But this time we ended up not being able to make it work out so we could fly, so we ended up driving, and it was in Reno, which we used to drive to most of the conventions that we'd ever go to for business. And I forgot how much I enjoyed the drive with my wife. After we go to big conferences or conventions, we love talking about our goals that we're wanting in business, and also like reconnecting about where we're wanting to be in business. And we just don't really get that on the plane. The airport ends up being a rush. It's not long enough. It kind of feels weird with a bunch of other people. But with just us in the car, it's great. And so I love that like forced togetherness to be able to like reconnect on our goals. But it also gives the opportunity to like contemplate and get like psyched up. So after we had our time together talking about our goals, I had like 6 or 7 hours of drive time that I could just like be. So I popped on a few motivational talks, popped on a YouTube video about Claude Code and how I could potentially use that. And then I ended up getting into a like motivational, like hype you up type TikToks, which were fun, and then led into some music. And so I just vibed for like a few hours. My wife would wake up and I'm just sitting there just jamming, and in between that and tears and just getting ready to just feel like I'm gonna kill it. And I think just having that time to be able to like focus, be just there with myself, because I have a really hard time of not always being in something. I'm always on my phone or with my kids or doing something. I have very little time where I just let myself think. And I think that part is extremely important to do, is to have that time, take that time to just contemplate, think. It was a very spiritual, which was great, and gave me some thoughts and things I needed to act on, which was great. So yeah, all about going to conferences. Suggest you guys should do that for yourself if you have a new business. If you ever want any business help, that's what we're here for, Built by the Foot. We are all about helping new business owners progress their businesses forward.